That's all the time.
Florida orange juice. Tell us some of the...
Well, the deal is the insects and diseases get introduced to Florida, and then we figure out how to manage them and disseminate that information to everybody else. Exactly.
So tell us what's going on.
Basically with the insect, several things have been done. First, that if you don't control the insect and you abandon your growth, that growth will become the breeding point for the insect. Regularly, the insect people try to control it using mostly systemics, immunotherapy and so on. Biological control effect is very, very low. What I have found out through my studies is that a parasitoid was introduced, but the parasitism is never higher than, let's say, 10%, or sometimes maximum 20%. But there is a problem that there is a group of predators that are attacking the insect as well that are very, very efficient, but at the same time some of them are also going after the parasitoids and reducing the efficacy of the parasitoids. So mostly it has been chemical control. That's what we are with.
But what's the success story with chemical control?
With the success story of chemical control is reducing the populations. What we have found out right now with, again, we mentioned about limes yesterday, that we planted, let's say, 3 grapefruits, oranges, and limes at the same time. During the same year, they were nicotinoid and agrimac were sprayed continuously during that year. After that, they were left alone. Both grapefruits and oranges are completely dead. The limes do have the greening, but they are surviving and producing. That's as far as I can.
So they're saying that there is some genetic resistance to greening. So there are some citrus varieties.
Yeah.
Nutrition, I think that's what they were talking about.
Well, yeah. So, getting the young trees established, so Jorge mentioned he used some insecticides to get the young trees established. We're talking about limes here. But since that time has not been trying to control the psyllid, the trees have greening. Randy might want to mention about the greening, but apparently limes are a little bit different. There has been, there's a lot of work. Florida's doing a lot of work on citrus greening. Right now, there's somewhat of a controversy between whether an approach of removing positive trees over time consistently will make it, you're reducing the inoculum level, and whether you can live with that tree removal. And it appears that if there's a large enough area where they're doing that, where they're consistently removing positive trees, after about 3 years, they can get the level down to about a 5% level a year, and it appears like it might work. The problem, then there's also another approach where people are applying moderately high doses of micronutrients to the trees, and this seems to mask the disease somewhat, and the trees sort of maintain their production. Although for the citrus, for oranges, their pound solids, which is how it's sold in Florida, goes down over time, but the yields sort of steady out. Now with limes, we're not really concerned about the pound solids. It's a fresh fruit, and it's a sour fruit. But
you should mention the China experience.
Yeah. Well, it was reported that in China and South Africa, actually, that they originally had tried the nutritional approach, but found over time that the approach of removing positive trees over time was really the way to go. One of the issues we have, and it's probably they have, well, in China, they mandate the removal of the trees. And it's not like you're a grower and you can say, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Here in the U.S., a little bit different.
Why did they do that in China? What they've done in China now is they tried the nutritional route. It did not work. They had to completely start over again. They had to completely replant again. So if basically nutrition will come back and bite you in the butt, this is a slow developing disease, and it's not a good idea
Like I said, it's debatable.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you saw the seminar.
I know, but he didn't show me the data from China or South Africa. So until I see that, I don't want to make a conclusion about it. But so it is controversial. It is controversial. Yeah. It is controversial. And again, I think when you do talk about this, you need to talk about the difference. You need to talk about which type of citrus you're talking about. Are you talking about oranges, grapefruit, pomelos, limes, or lemons? Because I think you're going to see some differences.
And what about mutating if you spray heavily also? Is there no problem?
There's a problem with the psyllid. They are having problems now with tolerance. Yeah, talk about lupus.
Yeah, I think there are problems with tolerance, or you can develop resistance if you're using the same materials. So yeah, again, the insecticides is not the answer. Sure, the problem is again the biological control. You're dealing with vectors. The biological control, you have to have a population that that biological control is going to live on. And with the psyllid, I don't think you can allow that a large psyllid population. So it's,
There's really convincing evidence now in Florida and in South Africa. South Africa is a different situation because they have a different pathogen cause of this disease. It's not as aggressive as the Asiatic strain that we have. South Africa is the only area in the world where they've effectively managed this disease, and they do it very rigorous management with clean planting stock, area-wide control of the psyllid. And that last point, you have to have excellent control of the psyllid to have it be effective. It has to be very good. You can't have kind of good. It has to be a top-notch psyllid control to have it be effective. That's very important. So this issue of the insect, becoming resistant or tolerant to some of the compounds you're going to use is troublesome because that's the ammunition that we're using to get down to these very low levels of the psyllid. You need those low levels to have good HLB control, good weaning control.
Okay, well, thanks for coming, and thank you.